Hey everyone. So let's talk about some actual coping skills that you can use to calm down, to stop in the moment, and to change the way you think about things in a way that's more constructive and helpful towards you. All right, so we had 5 types of negative self-talk. We also have 5 coping skills. So the first one is to name. So each of these are just going to be one word to maybe help you remember them a little bit better. So the first one is name. So that means you're just naming your thoughts and your feelings in that moment. So whenever something happens and you're really stressed out, maybe you just start to point out and isolate what you're actually feeling. I'm feeling disappointed because of this, and try to be as specific as you can. One thing that's going to be helpful with this, I think a lot of us, we have trouble coming up with the word for exactly how we're feeling. If you just look up a feelings wheel, and I'll put one on the screen here, it will have the basic emotions, like happy, mad, sad, and then it will break them down into more specific feelings. So I know a lot of us, our vocabulary maybe is holding us back a little bit in naming what we're actually feeling. So it's good to just use a reference. Another thing you can actually name is the types of negative self-talk that we were talking about before. So you could say, ooh, I think I'm kind of using personalization right now, or I think I'm kind of catastrophizing right now, or maybe I think I'm seeing some all or nothing thinking. So sometimes it helps to just stop and just point out what's going on in your head rather than just, moving on with your day. So the first one is name. All right, so the second technique is to breathe. So pretty simple, but it takes a lot of focus sometimes. Whenever you're really upset, you might not want to calm down and slow down your breathing. But basically what happens whenever you're upset and you have intense emotions, your breathing, whether you notice it or not, is going to speed up a little bit, to the point where your brain might think like, hey, this is an unsafe situation for me, or I'm in some type of danger. So taking in more oxygen kind of equips your brain to deal with things, and slowing down your breathing allows you to slow down and kind of figure out, all right, how can I handle this? Because just moving faster and faster and faster, and breathing faster is going to make you anxious, and it's going to heighten the feelings that you're trying to calm down from. So the slower you can breathe, if you want to take some time, maybe I take I count to 3 on the breath in, I hold it for 2 seconds, and then I breathe out for 6 seconds. But if you want to go with like just the basic concept, you want to breathe in slowly, you want to hold it for a couple of seconds, and then you want to breathe out slowly. That's basically what it is. And that's going to equip your brain to handle your feelings better, and it's going to help your feelings lessen a little bit in intensity and equip your body and your brain to handle everything. It also might keep you from saying something that you're going to regret later. So if you're stopping and breathing, then that might allow you to slow down and avoid saying things or jumping to things that you're going to regret later. All right, the third technique is relax. So this, I think, whenever people think of things that are relaxing, they think of, sitting, listening to music, watching a show, and those are all really good things. But I want you to think of relaxing a little bit differently in something that is mentally relaxing. So sometimes, even though like exercise, for example, or working out is very physically strenuous, and you wouldn't describe that as relaxing. If I'm going on a run for 3 miles, I wouldn't describe that as a relaxing activity, or lifting weights is not a relaxing activity. But for your brain and for your mental health, and for your mind, it can be very relaxing to exercise, to go for a walk, to move around. Sometimes our bodies and our mind kind of are on opposite trends, to where when our body is moving, maybe our mind can relax a little bit more. Some people washing the dishes or doing some type of chore that has some type of repetitiveness to it, that can be mentally relaxing as well. So just find what works for you and try to use that relaxing activity. And you have to work with what's available to you. So if you're in school, you can't go watch a show. You have to find something else that's relaxing that you could use in that setting. All right, the fourth technique is to write. And much like breathing, this helps you to slow down a little bit And then also, it's just helpful for some people to get some things out on paper. So even if you don't have somebody there to talk to, writing it down can help you release some of your thoughts and some of your feelings and just kind of get them out, and then maybe give you a little bit of perspective on it as you're writing or as you're reading back what you've written. So I'll give you 3 exercises, and again, this is from the mental wellness course from Reframe that you can check out. It's in the description. But I'll give you 3 exercises that you could possibly try using the coping skill of writing. One is to just set a timer for 3 minutes and write all of your thoughts for just 3 minutes. So whatever you're thinking, whatever comes in your head, like, wow, this is taking a long time, or I'm really upset about this, or this paper is ripping, like whatever it might be. You're just gonna write your thoughts for 3 minutes, and then whenever that timer goes off, then you're just gonna take that paper, rip it up, and just kind of imagine your thoughts also just being released, like just kind of going away. Like your paper's been ripped up, it's going away, and then your thoughts can kind of like do the same thing. And maybe that'll help you just, realize that what you're going through is temporary right now. How you're feeling right now is not going to last forever, and it will pass. The second thing you could try writing is writing down your feelings or the things that are challenging to you. So you go ahead and write down how you're feeling, or what's going on, what is the challenge that you're facing, and then read it back to yourself, and then write what would you like to change about how you're feeling, or what type of changes would you like to make in your life based on what you just ripped. And the third thing you can try is to write down what you are thankful for. So this can be hard to come up with, particularly if you're in a bad mood, but it is helpful for us, and it's going to foster more positivity in you if you think about what you're thankful for. So writing down what you're thankful for can help you appreciate life a little bit more, and can help you slow down and realize the good things in your life, and can foster more positivity in you that's going to help you deal with challenges. All right, the last coping skill, and this one might actually be the most useful in making changes in your life. So the other ones I think were very helpful in helping you sort out your feelings and are very helpful in the moment. This one is helpful in the moment as well, but it's very helpful in actually making changes in your life and seeing progress, and it's reframe. So it's reframing your thoughts and feelings. Basically, the thoughts that we had before, like I talked about with negative and positive cycles, whenever you have a thought, I want you to think about like exactly what that thought was, isolate what that thought was. Like, I made a mistake and my thought was, I always mess up, I always do this. Why am I like this? I want you to isolate that thought, and then I want you to reframe it into something that's more constructive. So let's say you had a presentation tomorrow, okay? And your thought that you have is, I'm totally gonna mess this up, okay? I want you to take that and reframe it into something like, hey, I'm nervous about my presentation tomorrow, but I'm just gonna give it my best. So, and a really important point here is that I don't want you to view this as like, oh, I can't have any negative thoughts and everything just needs to be sunshine and rainbows, because that's not helpful at all. And it's not realistic either. So I want you to be realistic, and I want you to be honest with yourself, but there are ways to look at things more constructively and more positively in a realistic way. I don't want your reframing to be like, well, I'm having this negative thought of, I'm never gonna do this, I'm gonna do terrible on my tests, and then I reframe it into, no, I'm gonna get 100% on my tests, I'm not gonna get any questions wrong. Well, is that realistic? I want you to acknowledge how you're feeling and then reframe it into something that's more constructive. Like I said before, you were worried about the test, and you're just gonna point that out to yourself like, hey, I'm nervous about this test, but all I can do is do my best. I'm not lying to myself there. I'm not being unrealistic. I'm not being overcompensating and overly positive to the point where it's not really, addressing the situation. It's just kind of like having a reaction in the opposite way. So yeah, it's just remember that you want to be positive, but you also want to be realistic and constructive. Constructive is really the best word that I can use here for how you want to reframe your thoughts. So be honest with yourself and work with what you got and just go from there. So try out these coping skills. They're going to help you break some negative cycles in your life and create some positive cycles in your life. and they're gonna help you handle all the challenges and emotions and feelings you're going through. But keep in mind that they are coping skills, they do take practice, and they do take time, and they take effort. So don't get discouraged if you try something out and it doesn't work for you the first time or it doesn't work for you the second time. Try to stick with it and remember that it's gonna take time, and if you put time and effort into it, then you're gonna see changes for yourself. The other thing to remember and to keep in mind that is so important is that you shouldn't be doing all of this on your own. So all the coping skills that we've talked about, they're things that you can do on your own. And the reason for that is because then they're always available to you. You don't ever have to rely on somebody else that maybe they're busy, maybe they're not busy. These are things that you can always do in some way. But you're gonna need help sometimes from other people, and that is okay. And it's so important for you to learn how to ask for help. It's just like in your classes. If you never ask your teachers for help, you're not going to do well in your classes. So the same thing in life, if you don't tell anyone what you're going through and if you don't ask for help, then things are going to be a lot harder for you. So try out the coping skills, but also try out asking for help and talking it over with somebody and reaching out, your school counselor, your family, your doctor. These are all good people to talk to that can assist you with what you're going through. Alright, so that's it for today. Hopefully you can use what we learned, the coping skills that we talked about and all the information that we covered to break some negative cycles and to create some positive cycles in your life. And remember that this is based on the mental wellness course from Everfi, so if you're looking for more information about what we're talking about, then check out that course info in the description. Alright, other than that, have a good day everybody.